I'm Eddie Sotto, creator of Skyacht One. I'd like to give you a little bit of background on how this thing came about. It was a wonderful, wonderful project, and Robert Ross, a columnist, fantastic guy for the Robb Report. We were having a conversation. He challenged me. He said, I've seen the stuff you guys do at SottoStudios. You've done all these kind of secret things for secret people, very exotic designs. Why don't you do an ultimate gift? What would you do for something like that? And I had to think about that. And one of the areas I've always had on my list, and I've always loved, and saw an opportunity, was private aircraft. It's an experience, it's immersive, they're beautiful, they're high technology. But I thought, it would be fun. Everyone's done the modern plane. We've seen beautiful modern planes. But why not go the other direction? When you think about luxury items, a Bentley, a Cartier watch, any of these things have a wonderful story. They have a great legacy. And you can also tell by the way they're made, they were made by hand. The gears of the watch, the jewels. You look at a car, you look at the way that the hood ornaments are done and the fine leather and stitching. All of those things tell a story. When you feel them, like an Hermes handbag, it has the texture. Those things reward you every time you touch them. You can see the hours and years and labor that has gone into each item. I thought, well, how could we put that into an aircraft? Well, the one sort of romantic thing like that comes to my mind are classic yachts. Why? Because on a bigger scale, a classic yacht has the joinery of the wood, the planks, the pegging, all the engineering is exposed. Well, why can't we do that with an aircraft? And I'd run across a story in sort of researching this of a man who did just that. He did the opposite, in fact. George Whittle Jr. in 1939, up in Lake Tahoe, actually the yacht is still there, you can go see it, created a fantastic powerboat based on an airplane he already owned. And so it's called the Thunderbird, and he modeled it after a beautiful streamlined DC-2. And I thought, what's so crazy about going the other direction and making a plane that matches a yacht? What if a yacht could fly? As they said back at Disney, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. Why don't we try? So I called a gentleman named Jay Beaver. Now, he's the vice president of design at Embraer Aircraft. And frankly, an idea like this could only fly at Embraer. And so I went out to Florida and began sketching and drawing and working with their staff. And here's the gift, the ultimate gift that Jay sent our way. He says, how would you like the Lineage 1000E? I said, what's that? He said, well, it's our flagship airplane. It is the most advanced plane you're ever going to see because it lands itself. It's spectacular. No one has even seen it yet, not even the Robb Report. I said, boy, wait till I call them. I said, yes, we're going to marry our forces with the most high-tech plane that still has knobs out of a jewelry store or a fine watch. So just under the surface of all that beautiful texture and all that gorgeous richness is going to be the most high technology plane that you could possibly imagine. So I went out there and literally saw all this for myself and sat down with their design team and said, how can we marry this look? And I'd drawn these things out with what you're looking for, which is how do we make this thing credible so it works, so it's practical, and it really comes together as a true product. So if somebody says, yes, I'd like one, we can make it real. Because it's all in the execution. So coming back to Los Angeles and finishing the design, all the little details came to life, the story. And by the way, we do have a story. We have an authentic story. Remember, that's what a Bentley has. That's what a Cartier watch has. They all have a legacy. Well, the legacy is navigation, something both planes and ships share. Mapping the stars, looking to the stars. And those fine watches from centuries ago were the armillary spheres and the astrolabes of the past. So they became our ornaments. They became our jewelry softly embedded all throughout this aircraft, from the luscious bedroom all the way up to the tiny details that you'll find in the clock when you enter the plane. Did a lot of research. Everything comes from a real source. We don't just make this stuff up. It comes from Versailles, or it comes from the Studiolos of Italy. All these things have a legacy. Piero Fornasetti, the Italian designer, he used historic research as the basis of his art and design in housewares and in furnishings. And so that's what we used as our basis. So many of his authentic antiques we're including with the plane so you have a story. Armillary spheres are actually called astrolabio on the dinner plates we'll furnish with the airplane. The ice buckets, the rugs, they're all reduced, measured, and in the 3D renderings. What you see is really real. At any rate, you can tell how much fun we've had putting this whole thing together. And frankly, only at SottoStudios and only at Embraer and only in the Robb Report will you find an ultimate gift like this. So for the ultimate gift, I'm Eddie Sotto. Enjoy.